Welcome to the Electric Theatre.
Hey, I just want to take the time right off the bat to say huge honor, of course, to be able to speak to you about anything ever in this life, and just a very magical feeling I have in me to be able to speak to about things that potentially we could be interested in together. So thank you for being on the show, and just thank you.
You're welcome, Sean. Thank you for having me. I'm interested to get into discussions with you.
Well,
yeah, what are you up to? What's going on with you?
Well, the first thing, and always, I think for people like us, we can, pardon me, we get too excited. My artistic schizophrenia is going to kick in, but what I really want to get out of this more than anything today for all of us is that, quick story. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm a very small place, and it takes a long time, usually 2 years, from anything from New York or California to make its way to us. So I got to be known in the record stores because I saved all my money, and I made sure I bought albums, and I made sure that the managers knew I came in with money, and that these albums were serious to me, and that I wasn't going to disrespect them. I wasn't going to break them. If you were going to let me listen to it, there's a good chance I'm only asking to hear it because I'm going to buy it, and it. So I developed this trust. I'm an only child. I'm scared. But music is all I have. The vibration of music is so heavy in me. It's God to me. So what I want to get out of this, and then I'm going to be quiet, is that one day I was having a really hard time at home. There's some alcoholism that goes on, and it was a moment where I had to do something for me. So I escaped, and I got in my car, and I went to the mall that was closest. That's what we had, were malls. I would love to shop mom and pop stores, but they closed early. And I had an hour and a half to go down to the coolest corporate store downstairs in the mall. And I almost had tears in my eyes. I was shook up. And I literally said this to myself. I said, I'm going to find myself right now. I'm going to find myself right now. I'm going to dig through here. I come in here every week. I stay on this genre. I was on blues forever, jazz. I do it all. But then all of a sudden, true story, but there's a point behind it. I lift up this 12-inch of Nothing Shocking, and I see these two beautiful women with their thought processes on fire, and they're connected, and I don't know if they're real. I don't know what it is, but the art, the idea of what was being portrayed hit me so strongly. I was taken back by it. So I turned it around immediately, and I see the pictures of the band, individuals. I love that, like old Van Halen days. And I was like, well, I don't recognize a lot of this look because we don't have a lot of that here in Des Moines. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. But anyway, I wanted to ask you, knowing that it's your art, your vision for that, to get that mindset out at that time of your searching in life to say something as a human, and whoever you were then. I mean, can you talk a little bit about what it took to have the confidence to do that, convince people in this reality that it had to be output, and that you weren't going to take no for an answer, and that one day some crazy fool named the Clown was going to walk in and have his whole life turned upside down? What was the artist doing to prepare for that statement that worked? But more importantly, for the kids today that are getting into it, that we're losing a lot of that. And that's what I thought I could get, is just, you know, not necessarily who you were, but where were you to have that confidence and that beautiful art that just was just boom, man.
Well, thank you, first of all. Well, you know, you've been in the music industry long enough to know that every record needs a beautiful cover. And I wanted one that just kind of represented where my head was at, where my heart was at. In those days, yeah, I was having a love affair with two women. They were both, you know, I was in love with two women at the same time. And we'd party together, we'd fuck, we'd do drugs together. I'd write about the experiences. Didn't last that long, but I don't think things like that are ever meant to last forever. They kind of can't. You kind of wish they could. You kind of think maybe they could, maybe it's possible. Then you find out that no, I mean, when you're talking about individuals and our hearts and love, you know, love is a very, you know, it wants to possess. You know, this whole thing about free love, I don't know if free love exists. I think that once you get love, it ain't free, man. You hold on to that love. You never want to let that love go. So, but for that bright and shining moment in my lifetime, I had two women, and we would share those wild moments in time where we were young enough. And you know, I wasn't all that popular. It was the first time people were really finding out about our music and who we were, Jane's Addiction. And I came from the underground, and I really enjoyed myself. The underground was, again, it was a real free time where you can let your mind go, let your mind hang out, and go to that place that, like I say, you think maybe I could stay here, maybe I could have this life. There was one time, Sean, I wanted to have like children from all these different women, and each child would be different. I'd have a black child and a Chinese child and a Jewish child and an Indian child, you know. And I thought maybe that could be possible, you know. And then I had a kid out of wedlock, and then it only took me one kid to find out, no, life doesn't work that way. I had to learn that. I had to learn that lesson, that's not how love works. You know, love is all about possession. You fall in love with somebody that you're theirs and they're yours, and there ain't no sharing about it. But at that beautiful moment in time, it was like the golden era of my life. I was in my early 20s. And so you think, yeah, I can have some, you know, a couple of girlfriends and be in this great rock band. And, you know, I mean, yeah, I wanted to be famous, like I wanted to be, famous wouldn't be quite the word. I wanted to be as great as the Beatles or the Stones or Jimi Hendrix or the Doors. I wanted the world to have a story about a person, a real life story about a person that lived wild and free, and got to experience those moments, and we got to make music, and people got to go out on weekend or whenever we come through town, and they got to be as freaky as wild as a person can be. There was no parental guidance, so no parental guidance about it, man. Parental guidance, this was all about self-discovery, rites of passage. We were young people. I feel that from 23 to 28 was magic times for a person, because you're young enough to believe that any wild notion that you have in your mind is possible to pull off. You don't know that, you don't know what it feels like to love someone and lose someone. You're just out there and you're trying to fit in. And I came out here to California by myself, and it was always real important to me to fit in with the LA Underground and the musicians. I was following in the footsteps of people like Darby and Jim Morrison, and I thought that it's time for a new story. It's time, we're from a different era, but I loved people like Jim Morrison and the way he lived, and his way of just speaking the truth and letting the world know that this world's fucked up. I like the way he said, I want to get out of here before the whole shit burns down. And he did, And then you know what happened? Nothing could kill me. I would overdose, I would get myself in dangerous situations, but it was almost like God didn't want me to die. He wanted me to testify. And so I kept on living and kept on living. And then I started learning more and more about love and the obligation that you have when you be in love, and how much it hurts when you have, a bond of love, but then there's another person that wants to get between that bond of love. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, or like my mom, she had that experience happen to her in a bad way. My father was a terrible infidel. He was always cheating on her. And I learned through her sadness, it's just not you can't do it, because people's hearts, you can't hurt people's hearts like that. So I learned, I wanted to become the best husband and the best father. And I wanted to be the best lover. And so I got married, and I had a family, and I worry about my family. My boy almost lost his hand this week. He was skateboarding, and he was holding a glass bottle in his hand, and he fell and he smashed his hand, and he severed 3 nerves in his hand. Went through 6 different doctors I took him to. He was telling me, Dad, it hurts so bad, it hurts so bad. But between my wife and myself, and like I say, the universe, I got help. The universe just brought us people, this Navy SEAL of all people, a Navy SEAL was supposed to he took a look at my son's hand. They opened up, they gave him 10 stitches originally. The original doctor was a UCLA, a new doctor. My son's hand was severed, as I say, in 3 different places. His nerves were disconnected. But this young doctor didn't know any better. He just thought, oh, it's going to be fine, sewed it up. Anyway, now I learn about love every day, and love is painful. I still want to have fun. I want to talk about the wild times and the good times. But I look at the news, you know, and I look at the way we treat each other. I've got friends, we don't agree with each other, you know, one's on one side of the political fence. I've got family, one's on one side of the political fence. And I love these people, but I can't agree with them. I've got, you know, people in my own religion. I love them, but they're on one side of a political fence. And for as wild as I want to be, and I want to be able to tell, you know, wild stories like I did when I was in the early days of Jane's Addiction, when I could have wild sex and women and be up for 3 days. I'll never forget those days. I love those days. But what I'm finding today, Sean, is that what we need strong men that are able to, they have to tell it like it is. The world, we need strong men. We need strong leaders. This Joe Biden, I'm inspired by him. He's in his 80s, and he's willing to take on the world. Imagine, he's got all these knuckleheads in his way, trying to get in his way, trying to make COVID harder to heal. He's got a pandemic he walked right into. The man's in his 80s, and he's tough. And he says, I'll take it on. So as much as I want to talk about the wild things, Sean, you know,
Yeah.
I really do. I hate talking about the bullshit. Our countrymen turning on each other. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
One thing I can tell you, honestly, there were two things that were important to me. One was the fact that we started with art being this vibration for me to be able to communicate, you know, and that's why that photo spoke to me so much. And I found myself, and I knew that music was going to be the way to have that voice. But the other question I was going to ask you, and you're already well on it, and that's why I knew we were going to get on it, was, you know, I look up to you in a lot of different ways because of our business and our arts. But I wanted to hear from you. You know, I'm 51 years old now, and I've lost a daughter.
I'm sorry.
I lost both my parents. I've lost both my wife's parents. So I wanted to ask you, a man, a human that I feel is a lot like I am in similar things, what it's like to get older and become wiser, because I feel like I agree with you that I'm starting to feel like I have an obligation to try to have a strong voice to help. And it's hard for me because all I'm hearing right now from everybody is everybody's wrong because everybody's right, or everybody's talking over everybody. But I wanted to ask you about getting older from those times, being here now, and literally talking about what you're talking about. Like, can you talk to me about being a man, getting older, and what wisdom actually gives you for the feet that are planted on this, on your feet are every day I go outside and I say, what the fuck is going on here? People are like, well, we're picking up your garbage. I'm like, no, what is going on? Like,
when my son was in the operating room yesterday, and his hands like this, he just came out of his it's like I said, 6 doctors. There's the 6th doctor. So he's got cadaver nerves in 3 of his fingers, but the guy did it, and it took you know, me being a man and being a father, not being a fuck up, and working with my wife. She was amazing, you know, keeping an eye on him, making sure that, you know, they fucked up. They misdiagnosed him. I don't know. I don't know about you, but when I was a young man, I first came to California and I had a really bad toothache. And I went to, of all places, again, I went to UCLA Medical because they do free, I mean, young guys that have never operated on, never filled a cavity, nothing. That's usually what you get when you have no money, you know? And I've had to go into emergencies a couple of times uh, and get, I got a doctor who never worked on anybody, you know? I was his first patient. And the same thing happened to my boy. So I had to be the father though this time, and I had to keep my eye on him. If I wouldn't have, you know, taken it serious, stopped what I was doing, slowed down and been a dad, if I wouldn't have done that, my son, who is a musician, he's 16. Both of my boys, Sean, they play music.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
He would have lost the use of his hand. Kills me when I think about it, but the good news is, no, we took care of him. So he's upstairs now, and my other boy right now, he's playing bass. And the younger one, they play all instruments. And you know, that this pandemic, it was tough, but you know, again, I had plenty of time to just be wild and unaccountable and be so free. I could disappear for 3-4 days, 3 or 4 weeks sometimes, you know, and you get those things. God will bless you, man. Those were some of the best times. But you know, you get to be. I'm 62 now, and I really love life. I'm loving life more than I ever have. I want to be around tomorrow because I've got some great ideas. You know what I'm talking about. You know what it feels like to entertain people, make them laugh or rock them out. And I've got new ideas on how to bring the world together. It's gonna, you know how it's gonna happen? It's not gonna happen by one man. I don't know what they think is gonna, the Messiah is gonna show up and everybody's gonna all of a sudden not act like knuckleheads. I doubt it. I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna happen by committee. Everybody's gonna have to decide we're sick and tired of this. We wanna get back to making music and back to making love and happiness and joy and laughter. And it's gonna take some smart guys, you know, smart men and women, some tough men and women that can make decisions, keep their heads, they're battle tested. That's what this guy who saved my kid's hand, he was a Naval SEAL. And when he opened up my kid's hand, man, I couldn't hardly believe it, the way he was digging in with the scissors. But he'd seen, because he was battle tested, he'd seen hands that were mutilated, you know? He had to move quick. And I learned from him, you can freak out and panic, or you can be a man, you know, the man of the hour, the man of the, you know, man of the moment, make the right decision. We're close, Sean. We're closing in on redemption. I feel, you know, this new cabinet came in here. I don't know what everybody is thinking right now. I try to watch the news only because I'm 62 and I have to act, and you know, I take on the role of an elder. I'm an elder statesman now. And my generation, your generation, I'm not gonna let people fuck it up for my kids. We're close, man. We got a beautiful world out there, and we know ways how to keep it. We can make this place really. We can do astonishing things. The air, we clean up the air. We clean up the water. Oh, I can't wait. I wanna go around the world again. I wanna see places. I wanna meet the indigenous people. I want to party with them. I want to taste their food. I want to hear their music. I think the way out, Sean, it's through tourism. It's funny. It sounds goofy. It's a simple solution. You make the world a place that I want to go and visit it. If I was an alien, I'd want to go to Earth because it's fucking cool there. You should see how beautiful it is there. I want to go to high mountains and want to see wild rams. And I want to hike around there. I want to ski, and snowboard, and surf, and hike. And I want to write music. I want to get on a motorcycle. I want to go through winding roads and want to go fishing. Does that sound good?
Hey, the funniest thing is I was wearing my fishing hat earlier, and I was like, I can't wear my fishing hat in front of Perry. And I actually was asking,
man, I like fishing.
Hey, I know you do, but look,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, I got to get back to loving the world, man. Look, I got my little hook here.
Hey, that's amazing. It's awesome.
Right there, see?
Cool, man.
But I was like, you're such a mentor, and it wasn't like I wasn't judging myself, but I was like, I need to be focused. I need to be the man of the hour.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I want to go back fishing, man. I'm sad. I'm sad too. I'm lost. Lots of people are lost. It's very confusing.
Don't be lost. Sean, this is the word. This is the word. This is I'm going to share you. I'm going to impart some wisdom, and I get this wisdom from my wife. She says to me a lot of times when I fuck up, she says, you know why you fucked up? You know why this all happened? Because you let these people, you let them flatter you. And they get away with shit because all they got to do is flatter you. They tell you that you're great, and they tell you what you want to hear. And that's how they get around you. That's how they get to do all these things. And that's what I'm going to tell you. There ain't no such thing as supremacy when it comes to man. We all have a share of good men, and there's some knuckleheads out there. And they're in every race, creed, color, you name it. There's some good people out there. There's some good brothers, and there's some people that they just suck. And the guys that they try to get around you by flattering you, by telling you you're supreme. You're supreme, man. You guys should be supreme. You should be able to enslave whoever you want. You should do it. You can do it, man. They try to flatter. Man, don't let nobody flatter you. Nobody's supreme. In fact, most of us should be fucking ashamed of ourselves. Half of our capacity we're not, exercising or using it. This world could be twice as great as it is now. And I can see it. We had COVID slow us down so we could take a real good look at it, and take a real good look at people too. Don't let people flatter you. We got to work hard together, and we get it right. People are going to want to visit different. Don't you want to get out there and visit Paris, and Berlin, Patagonia, the Galapagos Islands? I'm not going to let people ruin that. It's beautiful. We'll leave this for our kids.
I absolutely agree with you. I think about it. I have a 16-year-old, just turned 17, and all he does is smile all day long, plays drums, very proud of him. And my wife and I, we look at each other and we just pray that, there's a world waiting for him there, because it is a beautiful world, and we have the ability. We all have the ability, and I agree with you. I say it a lot. if anything I can say, I honestly am embarrassed to be like a human right now and just ashamed because
You.
I just don't know. I don't know how it just doesn't register in my brain. I wasn't, I don't,
Right.
I'm very fortunate that my
In your
parents,
spirit, your
yeah,
soul, you know
right,
it in your soul knows.
yeah. So, I mean, I agree with you, man. And that those are really the things I knew that there's so much obviously that we could talk about, but I love the fact that, I knew I was going to get wisdom from you today. And I knew because I was going to get wisdom, anybody who may like to look into me is going to get that wisdom. And that's important to me because knowledge is something you give. And knowledge is also power. It doesn't have to be a bad power, but it's a power to change. So it was very important for me today, more than anything. I followed you for so long and just trusted you that I knew I could ask you as a man what it's like to be wiser in what we've had to deal with the flattery, with the nose and all this. So, that's really what I wanted to get, man. I've learned a lot, and I really love you for giving us that message, and just also just having the courage to say it. It's like you're saying it. We need people to say it the right way, without a wrong tone or physical attributes or a megaphone. Just think about it. Think about it. So
And
I hope you can.
like I tell you, I've got family. I love my family. My family and I are divided. When I talk about this stuff, it's hard. How do I tell somebody I love so much? What are you fucking doing? What are you fucking thinking? We all have children now. I thought this was going to be, you know, in the 60s, those cats, they were cool, man. And this is what I'm talking about, the cats from the 60s. I thought by the time I got to be old, they're going to be such cool old dudes. What they turn into? What kind of shit is this?
Yeah.
We know enough now. We know enough now that we don't have to have any more wars. There's going to be a day they're going to turn their weapons into plowshares. This is prophecy. I believe it. They talk about the day of redemption coming. I believe it, but if they think that they've been redeemed, they think the day of redemption is here. No, they don't. This place we need to hold to our morals. When I say our morals, you can't let, man, one. It's like cowards, man. They're not the cowards. Just stand up and say, "Hey." Just pisses me off.
I
They
think that's
know
a
what they're
lot of it.
doing. They got kids. What do they think they're doing for their kids? How do you think they're teaching their kids? You're teaching their kids that you help corrupt people. One corrupt guy can scrub the other corrupt guy's back. I'll scratch your corrupt back. You scratch mine. That's bullshit. That ain't cool. These people aren't cool.
That's why my oh, it was an important day for me, man, because I've always trusted you in a far off way, and I just want to thank you for being you.
Well, I thank you. Listen, man, I don't have no beef with anybody, but look, we have COVID. COVID hit this place, hit it hard. Then you got a guy who doesn't know what to do about it. He's just trying to figure out how to be a big shot. Wait till the wait till everybody gets back to work. It never happened. You got all these people they're starving, and they're desperate, and they're sick. And then we're trying to get vaccinations, can't get them quick enough. And these old motherfuckers, they might be alive, I don't know, 5 years. I don't know what they think, how long they're going to be alive, but we got kids, and we're going to have grandkids, and we got to fix this place. This ain't funny. People are starving. So people better have some fucking courage.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's no fun seeing what's going on right now in the world. It's I'm far from where a lot of serious things are going on, but I have friends there.
Oh, they think it's a power trip. It's a big power trip.
It gets
They're
sad.
not out in the streets. They're not fucking starving. They don't have kids that are crying because they're starving when they go to sleep. They're ruining it.
Yeah.
Small group of people ruining it.
Do you think we're going to get it together? Do you have hope?
Yeah, I do.
I do too. I do too. Because we're human. We're human.
Exactly.
That's where I'm just trying to get, I guess. I can't educate myself very well on things that don't register. I really like how you were saying, scratch my back. Like that doesn't, I can't think that way, but I'm really trying to concentrate on what it means being human. And that's why every day I walk outside and I'm like, what? It's my obligation to look at the sky and say, what are you? And what do you need?
You got blessed to be alive right now. We can actually do some amazing things, Now that everybody's in a pause, we should be thinking, all right, look, where did we really screw up? I'm sick of this political back and forth bullshit. These dumb motherfuckers. Nobody's going to be anybody's slave again. It ain't happening. So get that out of your heads. And we have figured to work together. There's so many things we could be working on that are exciting and fun. Get the world together. Let's enjoy it for a while.
That's amazing.
Right?
It's amazing. No,
I mean, man, we were rocking. We were fucking putting together parties, showing up at parties together. I'd see black people, white people, yellow people, brown people. Everybody would be together. Everybody was enjoying each other. They were enjoying each other's presence. They were enjoying each other's music.
it's all been kind of paused, like you said. We are in a big pause, but I have hope. I got all these dreams of being on stage and not being able to perform because everybody's in tears because we're back. You think you're going to start your first song and say hello, but all of a sudden everybody just breaks down because we're all back together, because everybody realizes that there's a lot of things we take for granted, but it will be beautiful when like the God music can bring people back together to heal and get out, because there's a lot of suffering right now. When people have to steal one bottle of formula, and I can't, it's almost impossible to register these kinds of things. So I love hearing that people like ourselves, I think it's important to let everybody know we have hope. We do believe. I honestly
within love, we love each other. There's your hope. If you, I want to go and I want to go to Cuba. I want to meet the musicians in Cuba. I want to go to the Ukraine. I want to meet the musicians over there. I want to go into Palestine and Israel, but I want to go into Palestine. I want to meet the musicians there. Fuck these politicians. I want to meet the real people. And I want to listen to their music. I want to talk with them. I want to talk with, smart people that know about the environment, how we can make travel clean, how we can make energy clean. Those are the biggest problems we've got. We've got, certain companies, and those companies, they want to make that money, and they don't care. They fuck up the air, they fuck up the water. You scratch my fucking corrupt back, I'll scratch your corrupt fucking back. And their time is running out. The internet brings everything to the surface. We know what each other's doing. FBI used to know everything. CIA used to know everything. Now, man, word travels fast. When one day you get on television, you find out about all the shit that went down and what this guy did. You can't hide. You better be a man right now. None of that, talk about the fake news. I never heard that expression, fake news, when I was growing up. Where'd that all come out of? Some guy that was involved with the National Enquirer. Next thing you know, you're hearing this term fake news from guys who started the National Enquirer. You know what that magazine was? That rag used to be when we check out and we buy, you go grocery shopping, there'd be this stupid magazine sitting there. You look there, you see, they draw wrinkles on Cher, you know what I mean? Some dumb shit like that. You never thought that an attitude like that would take over this country. You never think that we'd be dumb enough to actually start believing in that kind of shit. That was just almost like comedy. You know what I mean? Like Mad Magazine. That's the level. These guys are taking it serious now. Sean, what the fuck?
I'm with you, man. I knew I was going to get this. I knew I was going to get the wisdom, and I also knew from the moment, man, I just appreciate you, man. Like the line, I wish I was ocean size, always made me feel that if I were ocean size, I could make a difference in this world, and that's how I always looked at you with that line is like, this person believes if they could be where possibly life began in some senses, in some ways, but the ocean's so big, we haven't even explored 20% of it or something. And then you just pull this line out, I wish I was ocean size. And all I could think forever in my life is if I was ocean size, there would be no problems here. There would be none, not one.
Right.
And I'd start with myself. And I'd prove it. I'd just be like, it's different. Now it's your turn. But
you know what I like to do? I like watching these TV shows where you go up to Alaska, Yukon. I like these people. I like these homesteaders, man. I get off on them. When this world gets to me too much and I start thinking like, we're way off course. I like to look at those places where life was simpler and, they grow their food and they hunt. They care about their family and they pass on family traditions. And the world looks beautiful up there. All the animals that are up there, the moose and the bears and the trout. And I just think to myself, that's what we've got. That's the world too. It could be that, or it could be some crazy motherfuckers that just want to get into fights over color.
Yeah.
Color of skin. What kind of crazy shit is that?
You hit on, I like to watch those shows too, and I want to share this with you. I watched I watched a documentary on a family that was blessed to buy a couple hundred acres in a redwood forest and live their whole life there. And what was interesting is this gentleman and his mind, the way it worked was that when he built his kitchen, he put the sink at the ground level outside. So when he was doing dishes, he was actually looking at the dirt, the ground. And he goes, you know why I did that? He goes, because as children, we're always looking up and we're excited and we're like, what's that? So I want to be here away from it. And I want to bring myself to where I'm looking up at the tree and looking up at the rain falling. But I go to those shows too and find that sort of salvation for a moment to help me where we are. Everybody, thank you so much. I can't tell you, man.
Take care, brother.
Big honor, much love. I'm going to take everything that you said to a deep place in my life. And please just keep being you. And man, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. You take
All right.
care. Bye.
You may be good. Be careful.
All right.